Have you ever felt a sense of dread as your birthday gets closer? A quiet, creeping anxiety that has nothing to do with getting older and everything to do with the day itself? While everyone else expects you to be happy, to celebrate, you just want it to be over. You just want it to be a normal day. You're not imagining it. There's a reason you feel this way, and it's deeper than just not liking parties. It's a story about your personality, your past, and what it means to feel worthy of being seen. This feeling of wanting to disappear on your own birthday isn't a flaw. It's not that you're ungrateful or cold. It's a complex, deeply personal response to a day that society has loaded with meaning. To understand why you feel this way, we need to look at a few things. First, the powerful, unspoken rules that tell us we have to celebrate. Second, how your own unique personality wiring might not fit that mold. And finally, how the echoes of your past can turn a day of joy into a day of pain. Let's start with the script we were all handed, the one that tells us how we're supposed to feel on our birthday. To understand why not celebrating feels like such a rebellious act, we have to understand why celebrating is a rule in the first place. The modern birthday party isn't just a simple tradition. It's a powerful cultural and psychological force built over thousands of years. It didn't start with you or me. The earliest celebrations, thousands of years ago in places like Egypt, weren't for regular people at all. They were for pharaohs, marking their coronation day, their birth as gods. These events were about power, politics, and warding off evil spirits. The ancient Greeks celebrated the birthdays of their gods, offering moon-shaped cakes with lit candles to Artemis, the goddess of the moon. The candles were meant to be like the light of life, a protective glow. It was the Romans who first started celebrating the birthdays of common men, but for centuries, birthdays were seen by early Christians as a pagan ritual. They preferred to honor the day someone died, seeing life as just a preparation for what came next. It wasn't until the church started celebrating the birth of Jesus at Christmas that birthdays slowly became acceptable again. The children's birthday party as we know it is actually a much more recent invention. It started in Germany in the late 18th century, with cakes and candles for each year of life. This was when our culture began to focus on the individual, to see childhood as a special time. This tradition spread, fueled by a new world where people had more time and money to spend on parties and gifts. So when you feel the pressure of your birthday, you're not just reacting to a party, you're feeling the weight of ancient rituals, religious history, and modern consumerism all at once. This day is supposed to do a lot of work. Psychologically, it's designed to be an act of affirmation. It's the one day a year the world is supposed to stop and tell you that your existence matters, that your life has meaning. It's meant to be a checkpoint, a moment to look back on the year, see how you've grown, and set goals for the future. For a family or a group of friends, it's a powerful bonding ritual. It creates a shared energy, a feeling of connection that strengthens the group. On your birthday, you are meant to be the sacred center of attention, reinforcing your sense of belonging. For a child, this is even more critical. A birthday party is how a child learns about time, about getting older. It builds their self-worth. It sends a powerful message. You are loved, you are valued, you are cherished. In fact, studies have shown that many young children, between 3 and 5 years old, actually believe the party itself is what causes them to get older. They think a child who doesn't have a party will stay the same age. That's how deeply this ritual is tied to our understanding of who we are. So, given all this weight, all this meaning, it makes sense that opting out can feel like a profound and complicated choice. But what if that cultural script doesn't match your inner world? What if being the sacred center of attention doesn't feel good? What if it feels exhausting or even terrifying? This is where your innate personality comes in. For many people, the choice to not celebrate isn't a sad one, it's a deeply authentic one. The most important factor here is where you fall on the introversion, extroversion spectrum. This isn't about being shy, it's about energy. Extroverts are energized by social interaction. A big party with lots of people, music, and conversation feels rewarding and invigorating to them. It charges their battery. For an introvert, that exact same party is a massive energy drain. They aren't drained by people they love, but by high levels of stimulation. And a birthday party is a festival of high stimulation. The desire to treat a birthday as a normal day is often just a smart strategy for energy management. It's a way of protecting yourself from guaranteed exhaustion. For many introverts, the worst part is being the center of attention. The pressure to perform happiness, to open gifts in front of an audience, to be on for hours. It can feel deeply inauthentic and stressful. This is why a surprise party is often an introvert's worst nightmare. It takes an already overstimulating event and removes any sense of control. An introvert's ideal birthday might be a quiet dinner with one or two close friends. It might be a peaceful day spent alone with a good book. This isn't a rejection of connection. It's a preference for a different kind of connection, deeper, quieter, and less performative. We can get even more specific by looking at a personality model called the Big Five. One trait in particular, neuroticism, is a strong predictor of birthday avoidance. Neuroticism is the tendency to experience negative emotions like anxiety, worry, and self-consciousness. If you're high in this trait, your brain is wired to be more reactive to stress, to see threats where others don't. A birthday, with all its social pressure, becomes a huge stressor. The expectation to be happy feels like a demand, creating anxiety about not feeling the right way. The gathering of friends can feel less like a support system and more like an audience waiting for you to fail. Neuroticism acts like a threat amplifier. It takes all the normal parts of a celebration, the attention, the gifts, the conversations, and filters them through a lens of potential judgment, embarrassment, and failure. In this context, treating the day as normal is a defense mechanism. It's a way to turn off the amplifier by removing the event that triggers it. Your desire to avoid the day is a rational attempt to find peace. Sometimes, it goes deeper than just personality. For some people, the arrival of their birthday brings a wave of dread. It's not just a preference for quiet, it's an active pain. This is often called the birthday blues, a kind of situational sadness that shows up in the days around your birthday. This isn't a clinical disorder, but it's a very real experience, and it's driven by a few powerful psychological triggers. First, there's the fear of aging and mortality. Your birthday is an undeniable reminder that time is passing. It brings you face to face with your own life, your own limits, and that can bring up a lot of existential dread. Second, the birthday acts as an annual life review. You take stock of your goals and accomplishments, and this can lead to intense self-criticism. If you feel like you haven't met the expectations you, or society, have set for your age, the day becomes a painful reminder of your perceived shortcomings. It can feel like a day for grieving the life you haven't lived, or the person you haven't become. There's also the intense social pressure to be happy. If you don't feel happy, that pressure can create guilt and a deep sense of isolation, making you feel even more alone. For someone with a small social circle, a day that's all about being surrounded by loved ones can just painfully highlight their loneliness. Treating the day as normal is an adaptive strategy to avoid this painful confrontation with yourself. When this feeling isn't just for a few days, but is a persistent lack of interest in everything, it might be a sign of something more. Anhedonia is a core symptom of depression. It's not just sadness, it's the loss of pleasure. It's a markedly diminished interest in activities that you once enjoyed. Anhedonia is like a broken reward circuit in your brain. A birthday party is designed to create positive feelings, joy, connection, validation. But if your brain's chemistry is preventing you from experiencing that pleasure, the entire ritual becomes a hollow, exhausting performance. You're putting in all the effort of smiling and talking, but you're getting none of the emotional reward. It's a net loss. Of course you'd want to avoid it. For people with anxiety disorders, a birthday party is not just tiring, it's a source of intense fear. If you struggle with social anxiety disorder, you have a deep fear of being judged or scrutinized by others. A birthday party, where you are the absolute center of attention, is the ultimate trigger. The fear of saying something embarrassing, or of people noticing your anxiety, can be overwhelming. For someone with avoidant personality disorder, this goes even deeper. The fear isn't just about what you might do in a social situation, It's a fear of who you fundamentally are. You might believe that you are socially inept, unlikable, and that if people get to know the real you, they will reject you. A birthday celebration feels like the ultimate risk. It requires you to be vulnerable, to accept attention, and to open yourself up to what feels like the certainty of being shamed or rejected. Avoiding the day is not a choice. It's a core defense mechanism against profound psychological pain. Your relationship with your birthday wasn't formed in a vacuum. It was shaped by your past, especially your childhood. For many who treat their birthday as a normal day, it's because the day itself is an echo of a past wound. If you grew up in a home where your birthday was forgotten, ignored, or even a source of conflict, the day holds no positive meaning for you. It's an empty space on the calendar. In adulthood, you might feel indifferent or confused about celebrating yourself because you have no positive template for it. This is especially true for those who experienced childhood emotional neglect. This happens when your parents fail to respond to your emotional needs. It's not about what they did. It's about what they didn't do. They didn't see you. They didn't validate your feelings. You learned, often unconsciously, that your needs are unimportant, that you are not worthy of attention. As an adult, a birthday party becomes profoundly uncomfortable. All that focused praise and affection can feel fake, undeserved, or just overwhelming. It can trigger what's known as a birthday freeze response, a state of emotional numbing or shutdown. You don't know how to be celebrated because you were never taught that you were worthy of it. Being the center of attention becomes a painful reminder of the love and validation you never received. The huge gap between how people are treating you on the outside and how you feel about yourself on the inside is too much to handle, so your nervous system just shuts down to protect you. It's a form of dissociation, a way to disconnect from an overwhelming situation. Treating the day as normal is a way to prevent this system overload from ever happening. For some, the birthday is also what's known as a trauma anniversary. If something terrible happened on or near your birthday, the death of a loved one, an accident, a family crisis, the date becomes a trigger. Your brain remembers the date even if you don't consciously connect it. As the day approaches, you might feel anxious, sad, or irritable without knowing why. The birthday is not a day of celebration, it's an annual echo of trauma. Avoiding it is a necessary act of self-protection. But our relationship with our birthday isn't static, it changes as we do. The meaning of the day evolves across our lives. In childhood, a birthday is a milestone. It marks growth and new freedoms, like getting a driver's license. The focus is on the future. In early adulthood, it becomes more about reflection, a chance to take stock of your life and relationships. But as we move into mid to late adulthood, the birthday can start to feel less like a milestone and more like a millstone, a heavy weight. Each year becomes a more potent reminder of aging, of physical decline, of mortality. The jokes about getting older stop being funny. The celebration can start to feel somber, a confrontation with the reality that time is running out. This is especially true on those big, decade-ending birthdays, turning 30, 40, 50. These moments trigger what's called the fresh start effect. We feel a powerful motivation to make big changes, to reinvent ourselves. We mentally close the book on our old self and start a new chapter. This is most intense for people whose age ends in a 9, like 29 or 39. Researchers call them nine-enders. Studies show that at these ages, people are far more likely to conduct a deep, searching review of their lives. This can be a catalyst for positive change, but it can also be a source of intense anxiety. The impending milestone forces a full life audit. And if you're not happy with what you find, that process can be deeply painful. The decision to treat a big birthday as just another day can be a way to manage this existential anxiety. It's a way to avoid the demanding and potentially painful process of that life review. Finally, there are those who treat their birthday as a normal day not out of pain or anxiety, but as a conscious, philosophical choice. For this group, opting out is an act of power. It's an expression of their values. Many people critique the intense consumerism that surrounds modern birthdays. They see the pressure for expensive parties and piles of gifts as a distraction from what truly matters: genuine human connection. They reject the idea that you have to spend money to show you care. This often goes hand in hand with minimalism, a lifestyle that prioritizes experiences over possessions. From this perspective, a traditional birthday party is a source of stress, expense, and clutter. A minimalist might prefer a simple meal at home, a hike with a friend, or a request for no gifts at all. It's about removing the noise, the pressure, the planning, the stuff, to amplify the signal of real connection. For others, it's about privacy. In a world where our data is everywhere, a birthday is a key piece of personal information. Announcing your age on social media or at work can lead to unwanted attention or even discrimination. Choosing to keep the day private is a way of maintaining a boundary, of controlling your own story, and for some, the rejection is purely philosophical. They see the birthday as an arbitrary social construct. The date of your birth is a fact, but the idea that one day out of 365 is more special than the others is illogical. They believe that if you live every day with purpose and meaning, then you don't need one single day to be artificially elevated. Perhaps they have, as one writer put it, stopped needing symbolic days to remind you of your worth, and stopped chasing validation disguised as celebration. For these people, treating a birthday as a normal day is a quiet declaration of self-definition. It says that their worth is not up for an annual review. It is constant. So, when your birthday comes around and you feel that familiar urge to let it pass by quietly, know this: your feelings are valid. Maybe you see yourself in some of this. Maybe you're the quiet soul who needs peace to recharge, not a party. Maybe you're the anxious avoider, for whom a celebration feels more like a trial. Maybe you're the wounded survivor, and the day is a quiet echo of a past you're still healing from. Or maybe you're the thoughtful objector, choosing to define your own life and your own meaning, free from the scripts society has written for you. You don't have to force yourself to be happy just because the calendar tells you to. You don't have to perform for anyone. The most important thing you can do is give yourself permission to feel whatever you feel, without judgment. If you want to mark the day, create a ritual that is meaningful to you. It doesn't have to be a party. It can be a day of quiet reflection, a solo trip to a place you love, a day of self-care. It can be anything that renews you rather than drains you. Your worth is not measured by one day. It's not defined by a party or by presents. It's in every quiet moment, every struggle you've overcome, and every single breath you take. And you don't need anyone's permission to honor that in your own quiet way. You are not alone in this.